Alright, well, welcome back, y'all. We are going to be looking at the song Full Attention, and that is by Jeremy Riddle. Just a wonderful worship song that we're going to be introducing to our church, Crosspoint, here in Temecula. And I wanted to show you basically the guitar part, the acoustic guitar part, as well as I could possibly play it. The first thing is it's in the key of A, but due to the magical capo, we're going to capo it up 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frets. That'll allow us to play it in D, all the D chords basically, and it's helpful because there's a lot of walk down as far as the bass for the chords, and so this is a better position to be playing it in. Basically, the verses and the intro go off of the D suspension chord. The D suspension chord is just the first 2 notes of the D chord, so you're only playing this note here and then you're going to leave the last one, which you normally would hold down. We're going to leave it open as a suspension. Suspend that second in the thing, so it kind of sounds like this, like that. So I'm only have two down. The next thing is that then it starts walking down the bass. The bass guitar doesn't do it, but the acoustic guitar does. So it starts with a D, and then it walks down to have the C sharp in the bass. So you take your pinky finger and bring this over to the A string, and this is the C sharp right there. So then you attempt, if your fingers are long enough, to have that. And then you bring to the B in the bass, which you can use your index finger right here on the A, and then you play that. So you're still playing that D suspension up here, you haven't moved. So you play D, and then D with the B with the C sharp in the bass, and then D with the B in the bass, and then back up to the C sharp again. You play that for the first 2 lines of the verse, and then we switch to an E minor 7th. So still hold your ring finger down here on the D, that's the 7th, and then play the E minor chord right here. And then, so you play that chord, and then you go to a D with an F sharp in the bass, and so with that, you just leave your suspension, but go back to your D suspension, but then hit your F sharp here in the bass, on the E string. And then you walk it up to a G suspension 2. So what you do for that is you just take your middle finger, still leave your ring finger on that D note way up here on the B string, but then bring your middle finger over to the E and play that G note, but then mute the A string with your middle finger, so it sounds like this. Okay, so the full verse is D, and then D with the C sharp in the bass, and then D with the B in the bass, and then back up again one more time, and then C sharp in the bass, and then B in the bass, and then C sharp in the bass, and then E minor 7, and then D with an F in the bass, F sharp in the bass, and then G suspend 2. Repeat that again. E minor 7, D with an F sharp in the bass, and then G suspend 2. Just like that. Strumming pattern is kind of like this. May your voice be louder. May your voice be clearer than all the others, than all the others. So there's the verse. And the only time it changes is then you go to the chorus. And the chorus, basically stick with that D suspension with the E, open E string, and you go from D, and then you go to an A, but you suspend with the D, that's suspension 4, so it goes D to the A, suspend 4, and then to an E minor 7, and then to a G. But you always leave that E ringing, okay? Please keep my eyes fixed on you. Please root my heart so deep in you. Keep me abiding, keep me abiding, keep me abiding, that I might bear fruit. And then you go back to the intro and verse again, which is the D. Okay, so the chorus goes like this. Please keep my eyes fixed on you. Please root my heart so deep in you. Keep me abiding, keep me abiding, keep me abiding, that I might bear fruit. Intro again. And that's the song.